everyone, it's Kate and welcome back to my home. Today's class is basically going to be all mat work. I'm still trying to get as creative as I can with what I'm doing at home and sharing that with all of you. And so today's workout, pretty much all you need is a mat and a band if you have it. I would say medium resistance if you have options of multiple bands at home, but whatever band you have would work fine. And honestly, if you don't have a band at home, this workout will still work. You don't necessarily need one, it just makes it maybe a little bit more exciting. So we'll get started. So if you do have a band, it's a looped band. So if you don't have a band that's looped, you could just tie one about hip width apart around your knees. So we're going to turn here. We'll start in a seated position, but we're going to bring the band right around our knees to start. And from here, we'll bring our feet about sit-bone distance apart. And as far as the band goes here, we're just gently pressing into the band, creating maybe some energy between the inner and outer thighs. Other than that, everything's just in neutral alignment. So feet are in line with our knees are in line with our hips. And from here, we're going to bring our hands in front of our shins and use that to create some counter pressure to stack our spine. So now our shoulders are stacked over our hips. This position should not be easy. It should be work to find this position and to keep it. Creating energy under our armpits here, activating from our lats and our serratus, plugging down, keeping the neck long and tongue relaxed at the top of our mouth. We'll take an inhale here. Exhale, keep your shoulders where they are and just draw that belly button to spine, tucking slightly at the sacrum. And then inhale to stack back up. We'll exhale again, tucking belly button to spine, trying to keep the shoulders stacked, just beginning to lengthen into the low back, feeling that nice stretch right where your lumbar spine meets the top of your sacrum. We inhale again and exhale, belly button to spine, tucking slightly. And inhale to come back up. From here, we'll reach the arms right in front of us, still continuing to try to step up on our sit bones. And I'm actually going to move forward just a little bit so I roll down still onto my mat. So arms are straight out in front, palms facing each other. Again, still trying to stack shoulders over the hips. We take an inhale here and exhale, belly button to spine. We're slowly beginning to roll off our sit bones, finding that nice deep C curve of the spine as we continue to articulate all the way down to the mat. Once the shoulders hit the mat, you can go ahead and reach the arms overhead, and then bring them back down by your sides. And we'll lock the feet in from here to get ready for our pelvic curls. So feet are still sit-bone distance apart. We'll start with just some breathing here, warming up at our lower abdominals. So we're inhaling to release the pelvis forward, and then exhaling, tucking pubic bone to belly button during that belly button to spine, letting the low back just melt into the mat. And then inhale to release that back forward. And we'll continue here with this small range of motion, just warming up at the lower spine around the pelvis, becoming aware as you do so of the rest of your body. So feet are still in a neutral position, in line with your knees and with your hips. We're trying to find a neutral foot position too, so there's still pressure through that joint at your big toe. The arch is still lifted. And trying our best to allow our shoulders to relax. There's a tendency as we tuck here for the shoulders to want to kind of rise off the mat. Just try to allow them to melt down into the mat, but not necessarily forcing them where they don't want to go. On this next one, we'll release forward on an inhale. On your next exhale, as we tuck the pelvis, this time we'll lift off just slightly off the mat, just enough that your sacrum is lifted. Let's pause here for a moment. Take another inhale. As you exhale, see if you can deepen that curl of the pelvis without lifting any higher. As you do that, finding a little bit more of that lengthening effect from the back line of your body. We'll take an inhale and exhale to melt back down to the mat. On this next one, let's continue. We'll go all the way up this time. Exhaling, curling that pubic bone to belly button, rolling one bone at a time, all the way up this time into a full pelvic curl or bridge. Trying to find that nice straight line, but not letting the ribs flare, so we're still keeping that belly button drawn in. We inhale at the top and exhale, melt down at the ribs first as you continue to articulate one bone at a time, all the way back down to the mat. Once your sacrum hits, we release the pelvis back forward on an inhale. And as you exhale, we draw that belly button to spine once again, articulating one bone at a time, all the way back up into your pelvic curl. Inhaling at the top and exhaling, melting down at the ribs first. Continue your way back down. We're gently pressing into the band here, but not losing that connection of the inner thighs. The way to do that, let's come up all the way up into our pelvic curl. We'll stay there for a moment and just play around with that for a moment. So we're lifted in our pelvic curl now. Go ahead and press all the way out to the band for a second. When we do that, you might notice that your feet kind of want to roll off to the outer edge of your foot. Let's fix that. So we'll bring the knees back in line with your hips and knees and ankles, everything in line. From this position, let's work with just the right leg. So the left leg's going to stay where it is. We're going to try to keep the inner portion of each of your feet pressed down on the mat. So we're keeping that big toe, pressed firmly on the mat. And from there, we're just pressing that right leg or knee out into the band. And then coming back, let's coordinate our breath here. Sticking with the right leg, let's inhale to prepare. Exhale to press out into the band, keeping that right foot still pressed down firmly on the mat. Inhaling to come back. Try to keep the height of your pelvis, not allowing it to rotate or shift it all side to side. Still keeping our ribs glued down as well. Last one on this side. And we'll switch sides. Right leg stays still. We take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, pressing that left leg out into the band now, keeping that left big toe pressed against the mat. Inhale to come back. And exhale to push back out. You should really be feeling your glutes and hamstrings here, starting to really warm up. Two more. Exhaling to push out. And inhaling to come back in. Last one. And inhale to come back in. Let's pause here. Take an inhale. Fix your bridge if you need to fix yourself here, if you've shifted at all one side or the other. And we'll take an exhale, melting down at the ribs, articulating one bone at a time, all the way back down. We're coming right back up into that pelvic curl. So we inhale, release forward. Exhale, tilt the pelvis. Coming all the way back up into our pelvic curl. And let's pause here. We're going to go into some shoulder bridge press. So marching with the band around our knees. So left leg stays down. We take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, bring that right leg up. Inhale, lower it down. We're switching sides. Exhale, lift the left leg. Inhale to lower. Trying to keep that knee at around a 90-degree bend as you lift and lower. Trying to keep yourself lifted if you can on both sides as you lift and lower. Still keeping the foot in a neutral position, whichever one's down on the mat. Let's go two more on each side. Exhaling to lift. Inhaling to lower. Last one on the left side. And we're going to stay lifted here, so fix yourself if you need to. I lowered down a little bit, so I'm going to bring myself up to that full height. Still trying to keep a little bit of a tuck of the pelvis here. We're going to kick the right leg out and keep it kicked out. Left foot stays firmly pressed against the mat. We're going to exhale to push that right leg out. Inhale to bring it back. Doing three more. Last one on this side. Keep the shoulders relaxed. We'll bend that right knee back in. Let's kick the left leg out. Stay. Exhale out. Inhale back in. As this left leg kicks out, try to keep your right leg in line, or right knee in line, with your hip and with your foot. 2 more on this side. Last one. We'll bend that knee back in. Balance yourself back off. Take an inhale. And exhale to melt back down. Let's bring our feet wide on the mat just for a moment. And we'll just windshield wiper our legs for a moment just to release the back and release the back line of the legs. I don't know about yours, but mine are definitely waking up. Tired. Okay, so let's bring the feet back to parallel or sit-bone distance apart. Fixing my band because it rolled up a little bit. Okay, so we're back in that start position. Feet are sit-bone distance apart. Feet in line with the knees, knees in line with hips. Pelvis is in a nice neutral position here, so there might be a slight space at the low back. We're going to go into some leg changes. So we'll take an inhale to prepare. As you exhale, bring that right leg up to tabletop. Inhale and pause. Exhale to switch legs. Inhale and pause. Exhale to switch. And we'll keep going. As you switch sides, still keeping that pelvis in a neutral position. Continuing to keep that belly button drawing in towards its spine to use that deep abdominal muscle, your transverse abdominis, to stabilize your pelvis and stabilize your spine. Let's do one more on each side. And we'll bring that left leg up to tabletop. From here, we're going to interlace the hands behind our head. We'll keep the legs in tabletop. If that's not comfortable for you, you can bring them back down and keep them rested on the floor. Shoulders are plugged down here. Elbows are wide, but still in your peripheral vision. Neck is long. We take an inhale to prepare. Exhale to lift the head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. We inhale and pause. Exhale to lower back down. And keep going. Inhale, pause. Exhale to lower. That band is still around our knees. Knees are staying about sit bone distance apart, keeping some energy pressing into the band. 2 more. On this next one, we'll stay lifted, going into chest lift with rotation. So we'll take an inhale here, exhale to rotate over to the left. Inhale back to center, exhale to switch. Inhale back to center, let's keep going. Last one each direction. Pause, come back to center. Take an inhale and exhale, lower the head back down. We'll hug the knees in towards the chest just for a moment to release any tension that might be starting to create itself. And maybe to catch my breath too. From here, we'll bring the legs back into tabletop. Toes are pointed, keeping those knees at about a 90-degree angle. And we're going to separate the legs slightly again to find some counter pressure against the band. Arms are coming out into a T position, palms facing the ceiling. We're going into spine twist. We'll keep the ribs glued down here. Let's take an inhale, rotate over to the left. Exhale, right obliques, pull you back to center. Inhale over to the right. Exhale, left obliques. And we keep going. The aim here is still to continue to move your bottom half as one unit, the same way we typically do without the band. But now with the band there, it almost gives you a little bit more feedback. You can't really press your legs into each other, but we're trying to keep them the same distance apart, pressing into that band the entire time. Last one to the right. Let's pause and come back to center. We'll hug the knees in towards the chest again. And just take a moment to collect yourself. Take a breath. We'll lower one leg at a time back down to the floor for a moment. I'm going to scoot myself forward. I'm somehow sliding up on my mat. And from here, we're going to go into some abdominal work. So from here, let's bring one leg at a time into tabletop. Still sit-bone distance apart. And we're going to go into our 100 prep. In this position, make sure you're continuously trying to draw that belly button in towards your spine. Otherwise, hip flexors and your quad muscles are definitely going to want to take over. From here, we're going to reach arms overhead. So we take an inhale here. Exhale to lower the arms down by your sides as you lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Inhale, hands rise up to the knees first, and then we lower down as one unit as the arms come back overhead. Keep going. Exhale, arms down by your sides, lifting the head, neck, and shoulders, keeping that pelvis stable as you move. 2 more. Last one. On this next one, when we lift, let's stay. We're going to work on kicking the legs out straight. So take an inhale here. Exhale to straighten. Inhale to bend. Last one like this. Knees come back in. Arms come up to the knees. We lower back down. Bringing it all together. Take an inhale here. Exhale, lower the arms as you straighten the legs. Open, close, bend the knees. Inhale to lower back down. Keep going. Exhale to lift. Straighten, open, close, bend, and lower on an inhale. 2 more like that. Last one. Lowering down, knees to chest for a moment just to reset. We are not done with our abdominal work, but we're close. So coming back into our strong tabletop position. Arms come back overhead. We're going to do 100 prep and stay there. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, arms lower, head, neck, and shoulders rise. We're going to hug onto our right knee. Left leg comes straight. Take an inhale, pause. Exhale to switch. Doing our single leg stretch. Pause here, bring the hands behind the head, and we'll continue to crisscross with the band that's still around our knees. Exhaling to rotate. Keeping the elbows wide here. One more each way. We'll bring both knees back in, lower the head, and hug your knees in towards your chest. Okay, so we just finished our abdominal series. We'll bring the legs back down, sit bone distance apart once again. We're going to go into a modified version of hip work, single leg hip work. So with that, let's bring both legs one at a time with control up to tabletop. Left leg's going to stay right where it is. We're going to start with an inhale. As you exhale, kicking that right leg out straight. Inhale to bend back in. Only doing 4 of each of these, so stay with me. Exhale to straighten. Inhale to bend. 2 more. Last one. Keep the legs straight. Inhale to lower. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to lower, up and around. Exhale, lower, inhale, up and around. 2 more. Last one. Pause and switch. Exhale, circle around and down. Inhale to come up. Trying to keep that right leg straight. Mine bent a little bit there. Pause halfway. Exhale to open. Inhale to close. 2 more. Last one. We'll bend that knee back in. Hug the knees in towards the chest to give yourself a rest before we switch sides. With the hip work, I would say the leg that's in that tabletop the whole time, and really with this modification, really both legs, the front of the thighs definitely want to take over, myself included. And so with this, especially when we go to the other side, now that our body's definitely warming up, getting a little more tired, definitely make sure that you're continuing to find that connection from the lower abs. That's really important to make sure that you're not overworking some of those more superficial muscle groups. So from here, if you're ready, we'll bring those legs back into tabletop. Right leg this time is going to stay. We'll take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, left leg straightens. Inhale to come back with control. 3 more. Last one. Legs stay straight. Take an inhale here. Exhale to lower. Inhale to come up and around. 2 more. Pause at the top. Take an inhale. Exhale. Circle around and down. 3 more. Last one. Pause halfway. Inhale to prepare. Exhale out. Inhale to come back. 3 more. 2 more. And last one. We'll bring those knees back in towards our chest. Maybe rock them side to side just to release the low back. And from here, we'll take the band off. We'll bring the left leg down to the floor. And we're going to loop the band around the right foot, kind of around the ball of your foot. We're going to go into a 3-way stretch. So that leg straightens right up towards the ceiling. I'm going to put a soft bend in mind. You don't have to, but if your knee does have a tendency to hyperextend, definitely try to keep a little bit of a bend. I'm doing it just because of how tight my hamstrings are today. Just taking a few breaths here. Getting that nice stretch through the back line of the body. From here, you can bring the other arm out to the side to give you a little counterbalance as we bring that right leg out towards the right. Stretching that inner thigh of the right leg now. And then bring that band into your left hand. Right arm comes out to give you a little counterbalance. Trying your best to keep the right side of your pelvis lowered, bringing the right leg over to your left now to get a stretch through the outer thigh and IT band. Make sure you're still breathing. We'll bring that leg back, bend it back in, and you can switch to the other leg. So right leg goes straight, left leg comes up. I'm going to again put a little soft bend in mind. Getting a nice stretch into that left hamstring. Keep the arms relaxed if you can. Mine want to tense up. Just keep them relaxed if you can. And then we'll bring that right arm out to the side to allow the left leg to come out to the side. Getting a nice stretch now into the left inner thigh. Switching hands, left arm comes out, left leg crosses over, keeping the length through the left side body. And we'll bring that leg back to center and bring the foot out of the band. You can put the band off to the side for now. And And from here, two options. We're going to come up into sitting. You can either roll like a ball, so hug the knees in towards your chest and roll up into sitting, or you can do a roll up, which is what I'm going to do. So arms overhead. We'll take an inhale here to bring the head, neck, and shoulders up, and exhale, drawing that belly button into spine to come all the way up into sitting. I'm going to bring myself back so you can see me. So we're going to go into a few seated exercises from here, starting with, let's do a little spine stretch to get a nice stretch still through the back line of the body, and then we're going to play around with a nice variation of side reach, which is something that we usually do on the Cadillac, but I figured out a way to kind of do it with the band. It works. So we'll see how this goes. So for a spine stretch, we're going to bring the feet just about the width of the mat. Technically, legs are straight. Shoulders stacked over hips. My hamstrings are ridiculously tight from being stuck in the house for the past 2 weeks. I'm doing my best. My knees are going to be bent. So knees are bent, feet are flexed. From here, we're trying to still stack those shoulders over hips, and arms come out in front of us, palms facing each other. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, chin to chest, slowly articulating one bone at a time, off an imaginary wall, and we're reaching towards our toes. Inhale and pause. Exhale, stack up from the sacrum first. We're coming all the way back up. I'm going to try unbending mine a little bit. You could play around with that too if you like. Take an inhale here. Exhale, chin to chest, slowly articulating one bone at a time, reaching down towards our toes once again. Trying not to collapse through the spine. Inhale. Exhale, stack up from the sacrum first, and then again one bone at a time. Playing around still. Here we go. Straighten legs. Ooh, okay. Take an inhale here. Exhale, chin to chest. Slowly articulating once again, one bone at a time, reaching towards our toes. Inhale, pause. And exhale, belly button to spine, articulating back up. From here, we'll reach for our band again. You can bring your feet together. And we're going to loop the band around the ball of our feet. From here, you're going to hold on to the band with both hands. Still stacking shoulders over hips to start. Take an inhale. Exhale, draw belly button to spine. We're rolling slightly off our sit bones. Staying in a deep C curve of the spine. So we're keeping that tuck of the pelvis. We'll take an inhale here. And an exhale. Let's just take a few breaths just to relax and set ourselves. Keep the shoulders plugged down. Belly button drawn in. And we'll inhale to open up towards the right, palm facing up. Looking towards our fingers. Exhale to come back, and we're going to go right into the other side. Inhale to rotate. Exhale to come back. We'll keep going. One more each way. Still drawing that belly button in towards your spine here. Equal weight through both sit bones. And then take an inhale and exhale to stack back up. We'll bend the knees and take the band off. From here, we're going to go into a side lying exercise, which will be fun. So you can loop the band back around your knees. And let's start with onto the right side. So we'll come onto the right side. Knees are going to be stacked up with the rest of the body. We're going to be putting weight through the right hand here. And come into, I guess, a kneeling side plank. From here, the left leg is going to kick out straight. I'm going to move it up a little bit so you can see that foot. Left arm up towards the ceiling. This is a modified version of an exercise that's part of the mat repertoire, but we're going to keep the band looped around the knees here. Rest of the spine in line. Take an inhale here, and exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Toes are pointed. As you lift and lower, try not to collapse through that side body. Keep your spine lengthened and in line. Okay. Keep going. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Let's do 4 more. Last one. We'll lower down and switch sides. I'm going to switch this way so you can still see me. So knees are bent in line with the rest of the body. We're coming up into bent knee side plank. Top leg straightens. Take an inhale here. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. 4 more. We'll lower down and bend those knees. Come all the way down. From here, let's come onto our stomach. And we're going to go into a quadruped position. So knees are bent, knees are stacked over the hips, hands stacked over the shoulders, or I guess technically under the shoulders. From here, let's just work around with a bird dog variation to start. Neck is long, shoulders plugged down, engaging from the lats, drawing belly button in towards the spine. And let's start with just kicking that right leg back behind. We'll hold that, keeping it in line with the rest of the spine, and we'll reach that left arm out in front. Holding this position, and not forgetting to breathe. We'll lower the arm first, followed by the leg, and switch sides. Left leg straightens, back behind. Right arm kicks out in front. We're just holding this position, trying to keep the abdominals engaged. Lengthened and neutral spine, keeping that left leg, if you can, in line with the rest of your spine here. Not lifting too high, otherwise the band will, as you can see, roll up. But also, we want to make sure that we're not hyperextending through the low back. We'll lower that arm and lower that leg. My band's rolling up, so I'm going to fix that. You're showing me what not to do. I guess that's why. Okay, so from here, we're going to go back to the other side. So right leg kicks back. I think that's the leg we did first. Left arm comes out in front. We're going to hold this. And we'll bring that right leg out to the side and back for 8. If you need to for balance, bring that left arm down. Exhaling out, inhaling back. 4 more. We'll bend that knee back in and switch sides. Left leg back, right arm forward. Exhale out, inhale back. Two more. We'll bring that leg back in, arm back in, and we'll come down to a rest pose for a moment. From here, we're going to take the band off for a moment and switch it to around our arms. We're going to come all the way down onto our stomachs here. Band will loop right around your wrists. I'm going to keep the elbows bent around 90 degrees. Chest is slightly lifted off the mat. And we're pushing our wrists into the band to activate around our external rotators of our shoulder joint. Allowing the pelvis to just kind of relax into the mat here. And we're going to go into single leg kick, keeping that band looped around the wrists. So we'll take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, pulsing 2 kicks on the right side. So the breath pattern, exhale for 2 on the right, exhale for 2 on the left, inhale for 2 on the right, inhale for 2 on the left. I'm just going to do it and you can follow along. So inhale to prepare. Keep going. Four more on each side. 2 more on each side. Last round on each side. And we'll lower the legs. We'll take the hands out of the band. Bring the hands down to the mat and come up onto your knees, sitting back into a rest pose once again. And we'll articulate back up into just a kneeling position. We'll finish today with some standing balance exercises, which I know is everyone's favorite. All right, I'm going to change the camera angle though. Okay, so I had to play around with the camera angle in order for you to be able to see me doing standing exercises, so here we are. So we're going to loop the band now around the ankles, and we're going to do some lateral band walks. So we're going to start actually on one side of your mat. We're going to use the mat as the distance we're going to go. So feet are going to be sit-bone distance apart. Feet are facing straight ahead if that's comfortable for you, and we're looking to keep those arches of the feet slightly lifted. From here, arm position really doesn't matter, whatever's comfortable for you. I'm going to keep mine on my hips. We'll bring the legs out a little wider than hip width, and then back to hip width, and keep going. Yep. Once you tap the other side of the mat, we'll go back the other way. We're going to do this 5 times each way. Just continuing to warm up around the side of the hips. I would say this is kind of a funny looking exercise, but as you go through it, you'll actually really start to feel the side of your hips start to kick in. We'll keep going. 3 more rounds each way. I don't know if you can hear that. My dog is crying in the background, sorry. We had Duke make a cameo last video. And now Zoe crying in the background. This is Pilates at home. We'll keep going. My hips are starting to burn. I don't know about yours. I lost count. Let's go 2 more times each way. I think that's true of all Pilates instructors, that we all tend to lose count as we go and then end up saying 2 more. Last round. Okay, yeah, and now I'm really starting to feel my hips, so this seems about right. And coming back all the way. When we get to the other side of the mat, we'll pause and stay. Okay, so feet are still sit-bone distance apart, or just about. Hips, knees, ankles all in line, keeping energy between the inner thighs. We're going to go into an exercise that's similar to what we do when we're standing on the reformer. I think it's called side lunge, maybe. Skater. We're going to go into skater. So from here, similar to skater, I'm just going to show you. We're going to do a side lunge, basically. That's what it is when you're doing it standing. So left leg's going to come out to the side. We bend into that knee, activating that left glute, and then come back. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to bend. Inhale to come back. Hip, knee, ankle in line. Let's do 5 more. Two more. Last one. We'll switch to the other side. So feet still sit-bone distance apart. Take an inhale to prepare. Exhale to step out, bending into that right side now. Right glute activates. Come back together. Exhale. Inhale to come back. Right hip, knee, ankle all in line here if you can. When there's weakness here, there's a tendency for that knee to want to collapse in. So that's really where we're trying to keep that wrapping from the outside of the glute. 4 more. Last one. Feet come back together. Nicely done. We're going to go into a balance exercise now. So we're going to turn, still standing on our mat here. Left foot's going to come in front, right foot slightly in back on our tippy toes. Please don't fall. If you need to, you can get yourself closer to like a kitchen counter or table. So from here, we're going to reach the arms out in front. Leg lifts back behind. Take an inhale. Exhale to straighten the leg as you reach forward. And lower back down. More of like a hinging motion, I guess. Hips stay squared. There's going to be a tendency for the hips to want to roll out, so we're trying to keep them squared towards the floor, which makes it harder for that standing leg. 2 more. Last one, and we'll stay and hold. We'll bring that leg back and switch sides. Left leg comes back. Right foot in front, hips square to the front edge of your mat. We'll just bring the arms out in front. Take an inhale and exhale to hinge forward. And inhale to come back. Three more on this side. Last one. We pause and stay. Woo. I have a foot injury on this side, so it's definitely harder. And we'll bring that leg back. We'll take the band off. And we're just about finished, so we'll finish today with a roll down. So let's bring the arms just relaxed down at your sides. Feet hip-bone distance apart. Little bend in the knees. We'll take an inhale here to prepare. As you exhale, begin to tuck that chin towards your chest, articulating one bone at a time, off an imaginary wall, as you reach down towards your toes. We'll inhale and pause here. Exhale, stacking up from the sacrum first, and then coming back up one bone at a time, all the way back up. We'll inhale, reach the arms up overhead, and exhale, arms back down by your sides. Nicely done. Thanks for joining me once again.